Mira Business FM. The sound of success.
It's the morning drive, time to talk gold and silver and precious metals with the veritable Jeff Rhodes, Principal Consultant, Rhodes Precious Metals.
Good morning, Tim.
Morning, veritable. There you are.
I like that.
That's
a new one.
Doesn't get better than that, Jeff.
Very good.
Thank you very much. You're welcome. Do you know, it's funny, I told you a few weeks ago, about a month ago, I've got these notes that I make, and I make notes to talk to you over the course of the week, because I kind of follow what's going on, and I read your reports, as you well know, like a good boy does. But I've still got at the top of my notes, gold gained 64% in 2025. And it's always there as this constant reminder. And it's kind of jumping out at me this week because silver and gold have done very, very little over the course of this week in terms of price.
I'd say I'm just trying to look at numbers.
Yeah.
I feel as though it's been the quietest week of the year today in terms of trading range.
Yeah.
And as I've said last week, and I'd been saying before that January period is the most volatility I've ever seen in my kind of 50 years of being in this business. And I was almost crying out loud. We need a period of consolidation, just steady Eddie, as you would often say. But we needed a steady Eddie kind of market, and indeed we've had it this week. It's
certainly been the case this week. I mean, I track usually around about the same time, around 8 in the morning. Sometimes I look at lunchtime, but 51.60 Monday morning, 51.71 Tuesday, 51.70 lunchtime Wednesday, 51.87, slight increase. This is gold, obviously, per troy ounce. That was Thursday morning. This morning, 51.87, couple of...
If I remember correctly, in my weekly outlook, I was talking about a trading range of 5,000 kind of 100 to 5,300, and the low was just about 50.90. So pretty much on the button.
Last week,
the high a bit low. I'm a bit off on the high. It's 5,250, but I just felt that we would have a tight trading range. It's proven to be the case. The thing that does jump out off the page is trading volumes.
Okay.
I said last week and previously, in January, the kind of average trading volume on the COMEX, the Commodities Exchange in New York, which is what I use to gauge trading volume.
Right.
Most trading is local COMEX versus local London. But if you take one side of it, it gives you a good feel. And in January, we kind of had an average of around about 400,000 contracts. Now, the average normally would be about 250, but in January it was about 400.
Yeah.
So far in February, it looks as though it's around 125,000 contracts. So really 1/3 of what we saw in January. And so why, you would ask? I think a lot of people got burnt. I do. I think the rally to 5,600 was beyond what anyone thought. And various people, look, in that rally would have gone short, taken, this is enough, it's gone far enough, and gone short, but one after the other was stopped out. They had to cover their shorts because it went too far. The other thing is the margin calls, the impact of margin calls. If you are running a short position and you have a leveraged position, so you put down 10% and you're trading 100, you put down 10, you're trading 100, then I think a lot of people were burnt with that. And particularly the jewelry sector struggled with margin calls in January because jewelers need a certain amount of gold in their shop, and they borrow money from banks to stock their shops and so on. But if they have a limit set in dollars and the price doubles, you can only get half that amount of gold. And so if you want to keep the same amount of gold, you've got to pay the bank the margin call. And if you make that margin call, it's really tough because jewelers should not keep their money in the bank. They should keep their assets in gold jewelry.
In gold jewelry.
So it's
exactly
really,
right, yeah.
it's really a problem. And I think this last week has been a godsend. I do honestly, although it makes it difficult for us to talk about things and everyone's really vibrant when prices are going higher. But I think what's happened this week is great. Maybe the same next week because although we're ending February would have come and gone. March tends to be interesting. It tends to be very interesting.
Right.
It will be impacted this year by Ramadan. Although the last 2 weeks of Ramadan, my experience has always been that you get a lot of demand for gold jewelry in the second half of Ramadan.
Well, that's what I would expect.
Yeah,
I
no,
would have
definitely.
thought,
You haven't seen. Look, it's been quiet at the moment, and what's been good? The Rhodes, Tim. Oh, that's like a blast from the past.
You are talking my language. Well, I mean, I live out past Arabian Ranches too, and the new flyovers, 2 new flyovers opened, and I'm here in 15 minutes. It was 35 minutes 2 weeks ago.
My good Lord, that's really
I
good.
tell you,
Yeah.
sometimes
Well,
we're
I'm
digressing.
heading back to RAC. Really, when we finish
for the weekend.
For the weekend, yeah.
Yeah. How's that journey these days? That kind of says it all.
It does, yeah. Like it used to be an hour and a bit. Now it's a minimum 2 hours and often 3 hours. It's just that section in Sharjah.
Yeah.
You know, if you just had Dubai, if you go Dubai over the top to Ras Al Khaimah.
Flying taxis.
That's
going to be the bonus for you.
No,
I mean, a man in your position should expect nothing less than a flying taxi, Mr. Rhodes.
Except I don't like flying. I love trains. Really what I'd love is sort of a kind of fast link train between the Emirates.
Yeah,
that would just be fantastic.
Yeah, Etihad Rail. Etihad Rail. I mean, is there going to be a rack? I think there is a.
It is.
There is going to be a rack
Yeah,
station.
you can see along the 611.
That's right.
Where they're sort of putting in the train. No, I think that would be just fantastic, and it will take a lot of the trucks off the road. This is the problem. You know, we need trucks to survive for the economy.
Yeah.
But it does snarl up the highways, and if you could move a lot of that traffic onto trains, it would have a massive impact. If anyone's listening to me, I think trains are the way to go.
Jeff's putting out a call. More rail infrastructure,
Silver
please,
bullet,
said Jeff Rhodes. Preferably tomorrow as well.
Tomorrow, yeah. But I'd say, Tim, we need a silver bullet.
We do, yeah. Is that your way of moving on to silver? Was that a segue? That was brilliantly done. Why did I not pick up on that? So look, well, let's talk about silver then, because let me just give you the rates for silver over the course of this week. Monday, 8:30 in the morning, 87.47. 8:08 in the morning, Tuesday, 86.98. 90.95. There was a thrill on Wednesday lunchtime when I looked. 89.13 at 8:20 on Thursday morning. 89.87. I looked about 7:45 this morning. So really, as you say, back to normality. Really.
It is back to normality, but
Right.
it's steady around $85 to $90.
Yes.
It's comfortable.
Yeah.
Tim, we could not, going back a year, you could not have considered a silver price of $90. A year ago, everyone thought I was nuts when I said it will go to 60. Really, globally.
No. Everybody just thinks you're nuts.
That's true.
So there you are.
So, but who would have thought that we could be at $85 to $90 and steady? Yeah. I think silver, platinum, and palladium, certainly silver and platinum, seem to be set to benefit from like global expansion. And I'm waiting really to see what the Trump tariffs across the board, 10 to 15% across the board, what does that mean for precious metals.
Well, that's been the story of
know.
the week.
It is,
and
yeah.
I was going to say to you, now, first of all, your reaction to that, and then what do you think? But I mean, it's the uncertainty again. We don't
It is
know.
that uncertainty. And so this morning, platinum, palladium, and silver, they spiked. All three of them spiked.
Yes.
And I was trying to figure out why, because as you know, I do a morning report. I was trying to figure out the reasons. And I think it is a concern that importing, a lot of people use COMEX futures, the US futures, to hedge. And that is delivery in New York.
Yes.
And hedging positions may be that they've taken in London. So you've got say, silver, gold, and platinum in London or Europe, and you've hedged it into the futures markets to the US. But what if you have to deliver? Normally, when you trade futures, Tim, you sell and buy back.
Yes.
You always cash out before delivery date. But what if you can't? And what if that you apply between 10 and 15% on imports of the precious metals into New York, where you want to deliver into your futures short? That is very bullish. Extremely. I mean, you talk 10%. I mean, although actually today in silver, if you have a range of 10%, it's neither here nor there. And 1%, we used to sort of go mad about 1% range. But it is true. I think looking for why the spike today, it is concern about deliveries into shorts in futures markets in the US.
Okay. And then, well, let me ask you a little bit more about kind of the stories of the week. We've got tariffs is kind of the main story, I guess. There's also the geopolitical situation, the talks between the US and Iran, brokered by Oman. So, as far as my conventional thinking would be, great for gold, good for gold.
Yeah, it is good for gold. The messages that have been coming out are all positive. And it seems that their progress is being made, which is great. The thing that tends to happen on a Friday when you've got geopolitics like this, in the mix, is what happens over the weekend. And so what I think you're going to see today in global markets, certainly precious metals, you're going to see some insurance buying.
Okay.
Just in case.
Yeah, okay.
Just in case. And so for me, today, I think you're going to see $95 in silver. You can pick me up on this next week.
Okay.
I think you're going to see. I think you're going to see maybe a pass at 5,300 for gold.
All right then.
And I fancy around 2,750 for platinum. I just think there's going to be. There's going to be some saber rattling going on, and that will end up with people saying, what is going to happen this weekend? I think it leads to buying in precious metals.
I'm hurriedly scribbling here.
Yeah,
so
I think so. Look,
Look,
I'd love to be wrong because I'd love everything to be cool.
Yeah, no,
this
exactly.
is not far from where we're sitting, Tim. So
no, I mean you're being realistic.
I am. Yeah, I just feel that, and if I'm running positions, if I was running a book now, I definitely wouldn't be short going into the weekend.
Okay, that's interesting. The veritable Jeff Rhodes predictions once again. There, do you know? I wanted to end the conversation today with something, I suppose, a little more positive in a way. I've been following your terminology of the day, okay, which is in your weekly report, your daily reports, and we've had purity content of precious metals. We've had bullion, carat this week, which I didn't know is derived from the word carob in various languages. The weight of the seed of the carob tree. I didn't know that. I've learned something. And I genuinely think that this will become one of my favourite words of all time. I was telling Farage about this morning. Wait for when Jeff comes in today, because this word is fantastic. And it's the word for the market situation where the price for future forward delivery is greater than the spot price. But it's such a fantastic word. And that word is contango.
Contango. Yeah.
How great!
It's a great word.
I've been looking forward. I promise you, since was that Tuesday? I think that was on your
Contango.
report. Contango. I've been looking forward to talking to you since Tuesday. I haven't been able to sleep at the prospect of saying contango.
Contango and backwardation. Normally, markets are, because of the interest factor between spot and say 3 months.
Yeah.
Normally, forwards futures are above the spot price. Okay, because of relative interest rates.
Right.
So, for example, gold interest rates pretty much zero. Dollar interest rates 4%. So actually, that differential that creates the contango. Okay, 4%.
That's such a dreamy explanation.
And then very unusually, you can get a backwardation. Okay, and the backwardation is where the spot price is above the futures price.
Yes.
And the reason for that is a shortage of nearby availability. When there is a squeeze on physical demand, the only way to get rid of a squeeze is to buy. If you're a short and you're being squeezed, your only exit really is to buy. So this is why you get the spot price above the futures price, because guess what, Tim? You need the gold or silver now. Yes. It doesn't really happen in gold because there is so much of it, and central banks are holding a lot of gold. Gold is very, very much lent to the market, and so you have an interest rate of around 1% maybe. But others, like the industrial precious metals, silver and platinum particularly, they do have short squeezes. And when that happens, the only way to get rid of that squeeze is to go and buy it. And we saw that this morning, actually. We saw silver way into backwardation, and the same with platinum. So it tells me people are out there buying the physical at the moment, again, as a hedge against geopolitics and Trump.
Well, absolutely.
It's a hedge against Trump.
Yeah, okay. I'm just, the only thing I can express to you at the moment is that I think it's going to be a great weekend because you managed to use backwardation and contango in such an illustrative manner in that conversation.
Yeah. I've got this in there. We've got Z to get to. So,
well, there's another one as well, actually, and I think this was yesterday's report. I haven't read your report today yet because I've literally just got here when you were coming in. But doré, an unrefined alloy of gold with variable quantities of silver and smaller quantities of base metals.
Correct.
Which is produced at a mine before passing on to a refinery for upgrading to the delivery standard. I never heard
typically,
of that
like when you dig gold out of the ground, you're going to end up at the very early stage of processing that with gold between about 88% and 92%. That is the gold when you dig it out of the ground. And then to get it to pure 995 parts in 1,000, you add gold to it. Sometimes, you can, if someone comes to you and says, I've got gold doré and it's 96% pure, it's not. Okay, it's not.
Right.
Okay, it's when you dig the gold out of the ground, it's around about 90% pure gold, give or take.
Okay.
So if someone ever says to you, Tim, I've got 100 kilos of doré at 96% purity, you know where they should go.
Yeah, and I can't use the expression on the radio.
No.
I'm not sure anybody's going to say that
doré.
to me.
And doré gold is the form of gold that largely comes to the UAE. Okay, because it's like small scale and medium scale. They would be sending that to normally it would be to London good delivery refineries for the big miners would go there. But there's a lot of doré gold that comes in. It's all good stuff. And you you have to make sure you know where it's coming from and who the people you're buying from. But Dubai is the most regulated gold market in the world. Have I told you this before? the only country in the world, to my understanding, where if you don't follow responsible supply chain guidelines, it's a criminal offence. It's not, oh, it's not good to do this, and you could get chucked out of some kind of organisation. But here, if you don't, these are laws. Responsible supply chain, know your customer, are laws in the UAE. I don't think there anywhere else in the world where that's the case. And that means that if you're on the wrong side of that, you're breaking the law, and you will be punished.
Did not know
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. So, local London, London Good Delivery List. If you don't follow their rules, you can be kicked off of the list. But that's all.
Yeah.
Here, it's much more serious. And this is why it's such a, contrary to popular opinion around the world, this is the most well-regulated physical gold market anywhere in the globe.
It's good to know. It's also been a learning experience this morning talking
you,
to
Tim.
you. The veritable Jeff Rhodes. Safe journey back to Iraq. Great weekend.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate you being here, Jeff. It's Mirror Business FM.